Nelly.
Hi, Crystal.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
How was
are
your
you?
journey? Good, good,
Fantastic.
good. Chanel, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Crystal.
Please do come through. This door does not like you. Should we have the discussion from here?
I mean, if it's okay, but...
No, let's try again. There you go, there you go. You look cute, Koi.
Thank you.
You look
I'm
so
not
girly.
finished.
No, you shouldn't be. Should be okay, should be okay.
Okay.
No, breathe.
Breathe.
There you go, there you go. Hi guys, how's traffic?
Bye.
Yeah? Like, no. Hey, but thank you for coming despite the heavy traffic.
Thank you for having us.
I am curious, just before we start, is any of you guys a parent?
I am.
Oh, you are?
I actually am, yeah.
If roles were reversed and the ball was on your court, would you consider, we're discussing about love, responsibility, getting married
Yeah.
because of a child. Would you get married? Pastor Chris, did you see her face? Let me let you have the discussion with the guys. Will come back to the ladies when they do retake. Much later.
Thank you so much, Crystal. And everybody, welcome again to Life and Style on the Mandate segment today. It's going to be so interesting. We've got a topic here. I know it's going to be hot. The ladies are coming. We talk to them later on retake, but on Mandate right now, I've got three gentlemen with me, and the topic is love versus responsibility. You know, sometimes people get themselves in those situations where a lady has gotten herself pregnant. Does that mean that the two are supposed to get married? I want to hear from the men who have joined me right here. But the conversation should go on Twitter. We want to hear your thoughts, so you know what to do. The drill, you know, at KTN_Life_Style, that's our Twitter handle, and the same for Instagram. KTN Life and Style for Facebook. 22840 is our text message number. And if you want to contact us on WhatsApp, the number is 0700574747. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style. You could also follow me on Twitter at CJ Atemo. Want to hear what your thoughts are. Does it mean that when a lady gets pregnant or conceives, that the man should marry that lady? Lee, welcome to Mandate on Life and Style.
I'm a newspaper writer.
Okay,
I'm also a book lover and a music lover,
all right.
and a keen viewer of life and style.
Wow. Awesome. Are you married?
I'm not married yet.
Are you dating?
Yeah, I'm dating.
Okay. You're in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, you know, if a lady that you're relating with gets married, gets pregnant, does that now mean that you've got to get married?
I think it depends on the circumstances where the pregnancy has occurred. Let's say if maybe I love her, I'll definitely marry her. But perhaps if it was not a lot of love was in the middle between the both of us, I don't think I'll marry her, but I'd still go ahead and take care of my baby.
Child.
Yeah.
All right. Introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me on this show. I'm a business writer. What interests me a lot is the movements on the stock market,
Okay.
what happens in the banking sector. But of course, I'm also deep into music when I'm alone.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your thought, you know, if you were relating? Are you relating?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If you're relating, then there's a baby cabin. What happens?
You know, when you begin a relationship, first of all, you usually have what I may call long-term goals. I believe that what begins in the right way, you start out with long-term ambitions that you want to settle.
Yeah.
And you may not really have known that person very well. It's a process.
Yeah.
But as you relate, if a baby comes up and you feel you love this lady, then you should go ahead and think about marriage, but it should not be the key driver that because you have a baby, it should drive into that, because you know of examples that exist of couples who are forced to come together and stay just because of a baby. At the end of the day, the man is sad, the lady is sad, the child is suffering, and it doesn't really have to work that way.
Okay, very interesting. I'm going to come back to something over here. And then I've got my third gentleman closest to me.
I'm dating.
Okay.
Okay, in the past I've separated, but now I'm dating.
All right.
Yeah, but about the topic, if first of all, I think people should abstain.
I'm going to pick up from what you were saying, Lee. You guys are talking about love, you know. Is that very important for a man, that a man loves a woman? I know that women really, they are more emotionally inclined in relationships. So to them, the love factor is really something huge. But do men really make that a primary consideration, that they love the woman?
Well, to be a bit honest with you, I've had a couple of friends, maybe some that I work with, some I went to school with, who I can say they were in relationships and they had children and they never married, and they were not in love actually because they confided in me with the girls that they were dating. So I think at times women really invest a lot through love in a relationship. But you'll find on the other side, on the flip side, men actually are not actually guided by the feeling of love, which I think is wrong.
Yeah.
I think when you're getting into a relationship, it should be sustainable. A long-term relationship, especially that could end up in marriage, must be driven key by love.
Is it fair, Patrick, you mentioned that you know, if somebody is not in love with a lady, you'd still advise that they take care of the baby. But is it fair for somebody to get a lady pregnant and then think that if we don't get married, I'll take care of the child? Is it just the financial aspect, or don't you think that this lady, 9 months of her time has been given to raising a child in her womb, growing that? There has been a lot of physical changes, sometimes biochemical changes in her body. Is it fair to say, well, I'll take care of the baby?
Well, I think my colleague here talked about people deciding to abstain or not abstaining. By the time the two of you made that choice, you knew very well that the possible consequence of your relationship could be a child. And indeed, the child has now come up. About the changes that have occurred in the lady's body and all that, you know, there's always this perception that men don't suffer. I always say men suffer silently. Ladies show it out
How
openly.
do they suffer? In the case of a pregnancy, how does the
I
man
will
suffer?
also be concerned if, let's say, I've invested all my emotions in a lady. When now she's carrying my lady, she's no longer interested. Or those key.
But there are men who run away. When they hear,
Yeah.
the day the lady will say, I've got something to tell you. And, and he's just suspecting that she is expectant. They switch off, change numbers. I don't think most men run towards babies like that. Chris, what do you think?
I think to marry or not to marry, I'm 50-50. Because now, so many men out there are getting it difficult to marry a woman with a kid. And
But that woman with a kid is because another man.
another man impregnated
There
her.
wasn't the incarnation like of Jesus, you know, where an angel came to Mary. Another man came in there and didn't take responsibility.
Yeah.
So you're saying that they're finding that hard, but they're not seeing that it is another man who put this
Yeah,
lady.
who did that? But it's a bit difficult to explain to you. But I think marrying her, if I love her, I will marry her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if the child is, you want to say something, Lee?
I wanted to say it's the whole thing about responsibility. I think at times men are the ones who are blamed of being irresponsible alone. But also for the women, I mean, it's your body. So before you get a kid, you are supposed to have like planned. You just don't wake up and get a kid that's strange or someone maybe. Okay, instead, you know, maybe he loves me or he doesn't love me, so you should take care of yourself. So it shouldn't be like the men are the ones who are usually to be blamed of being irresponsible.
That's very interesting, because I will ask the ladies when we talk with the ladies later on, like, at what point then You know, if you're not sure that this relationship is going anywhere and you have given yourself totally to this man, then you come out and then you blame the man. So you're saying that the women also
They have
need
to blame.
bear
Yeah,
responsibility.
because you have to be responsible, you have to be careful. You can even, okay, you have to take measures because this is your
These
life.
men are very persistent, man.
But Chris, you're also you are married.
Yes, I am.
Did you ever sit down and maybe ask your partner what really interested her in you?
No. I pursued my wife.
So you see that's what happens. You get someone, you think this is the reason you love her, and she also thinks these are the reasons why she loves you. At the end of the day, what happens when you realize that you are reading from different scripts?
But at the point that now there is a baby coming, what should a man do? On a very serious note, what should a man do at the point that the baby is coming?
A man should know the responsibilities that come with raising a child, and he should not make the mistake of running away. But of about the two deciding to settle together, marriage, they say it's a journey. It's not like that maybe one night that you guys had a good time and you said maybe you had future plans that never materialized. If you are going to press with that on that line just because of that child, you are likely to be sad at the end of the day. But if you know that you love that lady and she loves you back, then you can go ahead. But I insist that
Where
child
do you-
should never be that push.
Where do you bring in the balance between that? And I think that's the key thing for us today: love and responsibility. Do we rely on love even when we have already messed up what would have been love, you know, in a
But
sense?
Chris, also, don't you think love can lead you to being irresponsible? Maybe you don't have the means to take care of a child,
So would
and
you
then
would you
you're
call
in love
that?
with someone and maybe you get a child with her. Okay, love can also lead you to irresponsibility. So I think being irresponsible is
Are
more
you talking
important
about
than love.
responsibility or being irrational? I think it's important. It leads people to become irrational, but it shouldn't make anybody become irresponsible. You know, I'm thinking about the older days where somebody would have made a woman pregnant, and then they feel like the only way to dignify this is to take this woman into the house and make her a wife. And some of them really survived, you know. Is it that our generation is spoiled? Are we spoiled by we're too exposed? We have too much free will. We've got too much freedom and options. Are we spoiled, Chris?
I think society is spoiled because about raising a child, so many people don't like responsibility, especially boys. And they're the ones who have started the thing because they are the ones who have approached the lady. Because the lady did not come in the house jinini, yani hajakuja kwake kama niye amejileta.
Some of them do.
No, but in most cases, boys are the ones who start.
Yeah, in most cases.
Yeah.
But I know that sometimes some ladies also, they do the trapping.
Yeah, they do, but I think it's the responsibility of the man to see, because he has seen the beauty in that lady. That's why he has approached her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did men lose the responsibility? Because we are talking about whether to marry or not. But then there's even the further place where even just the sense of taking care of those children, there is a lot of men who don't take care of the children. Even when they've decided not to marry the lady, they don't take care of the children. Where did we lose it?
I think it's okay, the situation currently. You talked about being exposed. You also talked about these, today's culture, you know, there have been so many elements that have corrupted society. Even people blame the media for corrupting society, what they see on TV, they watch movies or programs where, you know, it's cool to be that hard guy who says, oh, she brought herself to me, so I don't care. So, but it's wrong. I think really it depends with the level of your conscience. I don't think you could be feeling comfortable when you're seated somewhere, eating, sleeping well, outside there's a part of you, your own child, maybe suffering, you see. So I think also the level of consciousness, somebody shouldn't be that heartless, should drive you to take responsibility.
All right. Patrick, you want to say something?
Yeah, I will agree with Lee. But to me, the major thing that happened in the society is when we stopped living as a community, bound by uniform rules. Like you could just know that if Patrick impregnates a lady, these are the consequences. But nowadays, it has been left to an individual. You can decide whether you want to marry her or not. The talk of mothers raising children on their own or fathers raising children on their own, it never existed because every child was supposed to have a mother and a father, unless if one of the parents is dead. But nowadays, the society has been given that freedom of choice, and I think to a large extent, there are so many people who misuse that. Because even the topic you are discussing today, I don't think if it will have come up some years back, because at that time, the rules were very clear and they were consequences.
And so you feel that the removal of consequences has made people have impunity? They do whatever they want, and then they can walk if they want to. They take care of the child if they want to. Nobody knows. You feel like if we went back into the place where somebody was going to pay for the mistakes they made, that would curtail it?
Yeah, but again, even in those days, you try and speak to women nowadays and they'll tell you that, do you know that the societies were so much oppressive towards women? So for them now the view has been that now it's a whole new world, things have changed, we have all the freedom of choice. And for men, as much as ladies will want to see the traditional man that used to be, the man is there asking, where is this traditional woman that my mother always talked about, and they are nowhere to be seen.
Well, the question that I would bring, Chris, you talked about abstinence.
Yeah.
And the question that I would bring is why the man would feel the need to engage at that level with a woman that he doesn't love. Because Lee started by saying, if he doesn't love her, then he's not under obligation to marry her, even if she has a child.
Yeah.
Now, he wouldn't discover that he didn't love this lady after the child has come. Even at the point that he's engaging with her sexually, he knows very well he doesn't love the lady. So why would a man engage at that level with a woman, knowing very well that he doesn't love her?
I think we men, we are very weak. Because when a woman comes in your house, the first thing that you trigger, you just see her body. So,
Right.
so that way we are weak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the level of abstaining, I think, it's need a lot of courage. Not courage, I'm saying. And yani, you must be very strong if you go that route of abstaining. Yeah.
So a man can actually have in his mind, I don't love this woman. I'm not interested in this woman. But at the same time, in that mind, he feels like he wants to make out with her. That's the mind of a man?
It's even the point that he has brought up that a man is weak. That's why in the society the talk has always been, guard your daughter, not guard your man. It's like this man is supposed to roam freely, but just try and guard your daughter from this man. So I don't know at what point the society started viewing life that way, but it will appear to me as though these
It's
daughters...
interesting because I want to ask you the question, is it a failure in society that girls were being taught, I'm not so sure that this generation is doing that, but in the older days, girls were being taught by their mothers, by their aunts, by everybody. They were being told, stay away, don't get pregnant, don't do this. They were being taught a lot of things. But nobody was talking to the boys when it came to matters sexuality. Nobody was telling them, don't get a girl pregnant. Nobody was telling them, be responsible. Nobody was telling them, if a girl comes away, say no. But all of that information was going to the girls. Is it that society did not invest much in the boys, so we have been left in the place where Chris is saying we are weak?
It's true. I think society invested a lot in the girls, protecting them, and it didn't actually invest in the boys. So for a boy, when you're growing up, you're on your own. You're the one who's to choose your destiny. So by the time you grow up, maybe your dad was even far away from you. You only cared about your schoolwork, your grades, but he didn't actually care about anything else. So when you grow up and you are now left on your own, you can see some mistakes happening now.
And I think that most of the men were learning a lot from their peers. It's when they get to high school or they're teenage, that's when they're beginning to learn a lot of things. So most of their relationship philosophies are not from father figures, not from uncles. It's mostly from among themselves.
Yes.
And they're at an experimental stage. Do you think that that has had an effect on the kind of men that we have right now?
I'll say that impact has been there. For sure, there are so many families where the parent decides at which age, at which stage he just lets you to go and find your way. It's like kind of the door is open and told, this is what we call the world. Can you find your way, find your position like others have done? So in the process of that discovery, you are not even sure what you are looking for, but you surely must find something. And
Should we teach men, should we teach young men, Chris? Do you think we should teach young men? I'm still coming back to you with your
Yes,
point of abstaining because,
yeah.
and I know that's huge in this generation. That's so huge with stuff like social media. You know, everything is at the touch of a phone. There's so much information that is bombarding them. But do you think that we need to teach young men how to respect ladies?
Yes, I think we should teach young men how to respect ladies because in today's world, the boy has been left alone to find his life on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one has brought it has made the boy child to.
And I think, you know, because we're running out of time, but I think what I pick from you guys is because men are left on their own. They have been prone to make a lot of mistakes out there. There wasn't proper guidance.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And actually, you talked about learning from your peers as you grow up in school, and you have the peers that you interact with. And in it, there's also a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah.
So you'll find boys or men boasting about their conquests of women, and maybe you might feel left out. And so when you try to be equal to them, you can end up now making mistakes that we are talking about right now.
Okay. So your final thoughts. I'll start with you, Chris. Final thoughts. What do you say to the men out there as we wrap up on Mandate right now?
I think for the men out there, I think we should just respect ourselves, we should respect our bodies, so that we don't be in this mess. And if you have a girlfriend, if you are looking for a girlfriend, look for someone who you love, somebody who, even if it comes to you impregnate her, at least you'll marry her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Patrick.
I'll say two quick things. First thing I'll say is that for men, we just have to try and be in a position to fund our own habits. Because for anything that we indulge in, then there must be consequences. And the society, maybe by default or maybe the way it has been designed, they will always expect that man to have a solution. If there's a baby somewhere suffering and a man is elsewhere very comfortable, it just comes out very unfairly. I think in such cases, a man should just wake up and take up the responsibilities as and when they come up. And then secondly, for men, it has reached that point where we now have to be very careful before you actually make that move that this is the person you want to settle with or even have a relationship with.
Yeah.
You will require a lot of keenness so that you can avoid these mistakes. Because at the end of the day, you may have a lady complaining, a man complaining, and You know, the foundation of any life is a happy family. If you are not happy at home, then we'll just have a messed up society.
All right. Lee, your final thoughts.
I was thinking that before you get into a long-term relationship, you must be sure that you love the person that you're getting into this relationship with. And whatever activity that is happening in that relationship, you must be sure the consequences, you can fund them. So in case you get a baby, be sure that you can take care of that child. Don't let him years later to come and say, I had a useless father who ran away, and the shame is on you. So I think men should take care, should be responsible of whatever happens when they're in a relationship.
All right, there you had it from the Men on Mandate. Remember, we continue with this conversation on Twitter and on our social media platforms. Our Twitter handle is at KTN_Life_Style. The same for Instagram and KTN Life and Style on Facebook. Follow us on all those, join the conversation. The Twitter hashtag is KTN Life and Style. 22840, that's our text message number, and 0700574747 is the WhatsApp number. What do you do when you are relating with a girl and then you make her pregnant? What do you do? Do you run? Do you marry her? Do you stop it? I want to hear from the men. And I want to hear the voices of the ladies also talking from over there. What do you think that the men should do? Because we want to hear from the ladies, we're taking a break right now and we will be back with Retake. So I will have the men who are on Mandate joining the ladies on Retake, and we hear what they've got to say about that. So don't go anywhere. Keep it Life and Style. Relationship Wednesday.
When I say I love somebody, it comes from within. There's no way you can get a baby and then I hear a grapevine, let me say that I don't like that lady. I don't love her. I didn't love her in the first place.
Ladies, I think they have the power in their hands to exercise a lot of control. A man can only go to an extent that will allow him to go. They may not force anything upon you.